Where do you get Vietnamese food here?
Uber Eats.
Oh, of course. I was like, did you make Vietnamese food?
Absolutely not.
Coffee?
Sorry?
Vietnamese iced coffee?
Well, I can't have coffee. I can't have coffee. Right, I was like, I can't have that too late. Well, not at 7 o'clock. In the morning, yes. Not at night.
That's what you think. One time I drank a Dunkin' cup of coffee, went shopping. 2 hours later was feeling myself. I was like, I'm doing this all the time.
Well,
I had like a brand new wardrobe.
I think coffee's kind of... Coffee doesn't really keep me up, but I'm like, I'm not going to risk it.
I feel that.
No one have to be here at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Perfect. All right, here with Madelene Sagstrom. You're one of the lowest rounds of the afternoon as the groups start coming in. What was it like out there, especially in the afternoon, that maybe differentiated from the morning tee times?
Well, I think it firmed up a little bit. There was the green. I mean, the greens are phenomenal. So I think they probably. I mean, it's tricky. Like the end stretch here on the back nine is real tricky. But I know the wind's been keeping up all day, so I think maybe just a bit of firmness. Other than that, I think it's been quite similar for everyone today.
I think the winds also, a couple players that have come off had talked about the changing winds. Did you feel that at all through your round today, and did that hurt or help on some of the holes?
Well, I had the mindset probably the first 5-6 holes we're going to play one way, and then they kind of switched a little bit, but then we just committed to what we had on the weather app, so we just went for that, and so far so good.
Exactly. Talk about this front nine here, a string of birdies that you had. How comfortable were you feeling, and what was working so well?
Well, I think there's actually a little bit of different character on the front nine and back nine here. So the front nine suits my eye a little bit better and not as tight off the tee box, so I can just whack my driver as hard as I want to. But I had some really good putts. Really, that's kind of, I mean, this speed on the greens really suits my eye, and I just love that roll that you can get out here. So I gave myself some good chances. I could reach a few par fives and just kind of got it a little bit of momentum, and that just helped.
I know you're on the opposite coast, but you reside in Florida. Do you think you have some sort of advantage being able to practice in conditions that are similar to this?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I'm used to Bermuda. I would think that's probably the biggest thing. I know the rough isn't really an issue this week because it's quite not existent. So, but I would say a little bit of grain on the greens. You gotta get used to the grass. I know we can get some windy days too. So I haven't practiced too much of that off season. So I was like, can I just hit it normal? Because we kind of just played it normal and just hoped for the best.
Are these first couple events to you? Are they more like getting the rust off as much as possible? Because I know you've talked about a little bit of travel you did over your off season and kind of being able to work on what you wanted to work on at the end of last year.
Right. I think the first few are kind of where, how was the off season, where you're at, like what do you really need to put some emphasis on, especially for me. I mean, I had some really good weeks. I spent Christmas in America, so I've had time to work on my game, but now it's kind of, okay, did it work, did it not work, what can I do when we really start going? But it's kind of a nice little stretch because we're playing 3, body's starting to feel it, brain's starting to feel it, but get a little bit of a break and then we're at it again.
Have any?
Yeah, I do.
Go for it.
When you see so many low scores in that morning wave, what are you looking at, or do you look at that when you're, before you tee off or while you're out there and that morning wave's finished and there's so many?
Well, I didn't really have time to look too much. Well, I looked at my, Jay Marie, my boyfriend works for her, so I looked at her score, and I mean, I figured this was going to be a pretty low scoring course when we got here. It's pretty accessible if you play well, so it's not, if you don't play well, you can get in a lot of trouble, but if you hit the shots that you need to, then you're going to score well out here.
What are some of the things that you took away from today that you hope you continue with you going into Friday?
Well, I worked for years, but especially this off season, I worked a lot on getting more consistent in my contact. And I think today, being able to pull off some shots into the wind when it's that really brings out the worst tendencies in my swing. So I really bring that with me. I worked really hard, especially these last 2 weeks, of improving my contact during tournaments. And that's actually worked out. So I'm really happy with that. And I think that's really what's helping me put myself in good position. So I know if I get my putter hot, I putt well. So it's more about keeping the ball alive and getting close on the greens.
We're not really used to having a 54-hole event this early in our seasons, but for you, how important is it to know that you came out to such a strong start with only 2 rounds left?
Well, I mean, we're just happy to play golf. This was a late event for us, so we're just happy to be out playing our 3rd week in Florida. So, I mean, it's good because sometimes sometimes we play courses where you have to shoot low. So this is really, you have to come off hot here to be able to give yourself a chance for Saturday. So it's I think it's good. It's good to practice all different kinds of conditions and all these kind of different tournaments and mindsets.
All right. Well, thank you, Madelene.
Thank you.
Thank you.